Hello, my name is James Reeve and welcome to my Wwise and Unreal Spatial Audio demo. In this short video, I'll be demonstrating how I used Wwise's spatial audio tools and blueprints to help build convincing sound propagation and ambiances in the context of a third-person level. I'll also be going through a basic locomotion system that reacts to the player and also switches materials on individual feet sockets. Wwise Spatial Audio specializes in sound propagation, virtual acoustics, and spatially informed audio rendering, and I put this level together with free assets found on the Unreal Engine marketplace. Starting in Wwise, the first step is to make sure that all your audio you want to be propagated has the game-defined aux send settings checked. To initially test whether our spatial audio is functional, I've set up a weapon fire one-shot that will trigger in separate rooms to see if the propagation paths are being created correctly. Next up, we'll create an attenuation share set that can be used for these one-shots and other spot ambiances down the line. I've set the distance to 1000. Wwise uses meters and Unreal uses centimeters. In this share set, I've also added an attenuation curve for spread, so that the sound is more positional when at distance but fully envelops when in proximity. This will be useful for ambiances later on. Be sure to enable transmission and diffraction. With this, Wwise will create diffraction paths that attenuate with the obstruction. We can also set the transmission loss of individual geometry by using the AK geometry components. Wwise also has a great plugin called Reflect. Reflect implements a multi-tap time-varying delay line with filters, and for our purposes we will be using the spatial audio geometry that we'll set up in Unreal to simulate these early reflections. To do this, I've set up an aux burst with a preset attached while setting the speed of sound to match our level. First in Unreal it will be 34,500. From there, we can make sure to add the burst to any sounds we want to be sent to the plugin. Next, we can set up appropriate aux bursts for each of our spaces: front room, back room, and outdoors. For this, I've used the inbuilt effects Room Verb and Matrix Verb, but you can also use AK's Convolution Reverb plugin as well. Moving into Unreal, we must quickly touch on working with listeners in third-person games. Audiokinetic have a great article in this that I've linked below, but the general problem is figuring out where the listener should be placed. To combat this, I've gone ahead and implemented a distance probe, which does a lot of the legwork on deciding where the listener should be. The next step will be to place our AK spatial audio volumes and our acoustic portals. The width of the portals will determine the crossfade distance. The final step for the ambience is to attach some ambient beds to the spatial audio volume so that each room feels different. We've also added some spot ambiances in the back room for sparks, burst pipes, and wind gusts through the openings. Once these are in place, we can use Wwise's advanced profiler along with the weapon one-shots we set up earlier to confirm that sound propagation paths are diffracting on the edge of the portals and going through walls with associated transmission and loss values. For my locomotion system, I'll be adding an anim notifier that allows sounds to be triggered and materials switched based on individual limbs. In Wwise, I've set up a couple game syncs, one being a switch for ground material and another being an RTPC for player speed. I've then set up a random container for different footsteps with the pitch being randomized slightly, and the player speed RTPC also raises the pitch based on speed. We can see the player speed with this simple blueprint. And this here is the anim notifier that I have put together for this. So basically what it does is that it receives the notify, and then from there it leads to a branch that chooses which foot is which. So I create this boolean, which is left foot. So if we go back to the actual notify itself, on the left side it should become a variable here where I can choose is left foot, and this one here is the right one, so it doesn't select this. From there, it branches off into two duplicates basically. So first off, it draws a debug sphere, just so you can tell that the 2 feet are, in fact, choosing the left and right foot with a color. Then we are going to get the socket location of the left foot socket. And to do this, you might have to go into the scouts and add these sockets yourself. Then from there, we are going to, we can choose the mesh comp for the socket location, and then we're going to send that location off to the line trace, and then we're going to shoot down from the line trace, get the surface type, switch on eFizz material, and then set the switch depending on which material it is, then post the event. And with that all finished up, the two legs should have the ability to choose individual surfaces. Thank you for taking the time to check out my propagation, ambience, and locomotion walkthrough. Please drop me a comment if you have any further questions on anything mentioned in this video. Thanks.